Welcome back to the channel, everybody. I am Flash, and thank you for joining me for another Marvel Snap video. And happy Arishem week, right? And this video here, it's not an Arishem deck. We'll get to those, but in this video, it's countering Arishem. Let's check it out. Okay, here is the deck here, but before we get into the breakdown, I just want to thank everybody for being here. If you could like, subscribe, do all that fun stuff, it would be great. We are about 7 subscribers away from 700, so again, thank you for all the love, and anybody who's not subbed to get anything from this, hit that sub button. I very much appreciate it. So this deck is called Judge Not. I didn't ask him why he named it this, but one of our friends over on the old Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it, put this deck together. Now, you have started to see this line pop up, right? Supergiant, Darkhawk, Mystique versus Arishem is absolutely busted, okay? It's very good and probably the best use for Supergiant currently, okay? But this deck was put together. It's a fresh cook out of this mind. It's doing really well for them. I ran it maybe just to give it a go, somewhere around 10, 12 games, like 70% win rate. Absolutely crazy. Very good deck. So without further ado, let's get into the card by card breakdown. Korg is a natural inclusion that goes with Darkhawk, right? You can frequently use Korg on turn 6 in conjunction with Darkhawk, you know, with that special line there, which we'll get into, or under an early Invisible Woman, just to kind of throw them off, just so they're not directly aware of your Darkhawk plan. Shadow King is just a natural good counter to a lot of things in Snap, whether it be the Angela, Kitty, you know, Athena stuff, or just a variety of things that your opponent can pull from an Arishem deck. Shadow King is very good. However, it could be something else if you want, whether that be White Widow, etc., etc. You get the idea. Invisible Woman acts as kind of a secondary Supergiant, but you have to be a lot more careful because Rogue, Enchantress, etc., especially when you're going up against Arishem decks, because the random cards could be any of those direct counters for Invisible Woman. And if your plan gets, you know, kind of messed up, if you throw Mystique under Invisible Woman and then it gets, you know, hit with a Rogue or something like that, it's going to really mess up your plan. So just be careful in using Invisible Woman as your backup to that. Also, I think you could play the Invisible Woman and put like Korg or Rock Slide under that, because then if they get revealed in a random, you know, state throughout the game, it's not going to completely ruin your line. Mystique is part of one of the core win conditions of this deck. This is the plan A win condition, which is to copy Darkhawk. Now here's where you can put her under Invisible Woman, but again, that's like the plan B. Plan A is you play Supergiant on turn 4, and then on turn 5 you play Mystique. Okay, now if you want to play something else with Mystique, be sure you're careful on how you're doing the line, right? So you play Mystique first, then whatever else you want to play, because they will reveal after Mystique at the end of the game. And then, you know, on the turn 6 of the game, you play Darkhawk. Then when everything else reveals at the end, Mystique will reveal first and copy the Darkhawk. Cosmo is in here just to be great protection. If your plan A game line doesn't work, you can play Cosmo. You play Darkhawk under Cosmo on turn 5, then you just copy Mystique, you know, or Taskmaster in another lane. Bam. Very simple. Crystal is in here simply because you want to see Darkhawk. Darkhawk is your primary win condition. You really don't have, to be fair, this deck is a bit of a glass cannon and really designed to work well against Arishem, but you really need Darkhawk to make this work. When you Darkhawk against Arishem, you basically auto win, so you need to see that. There are ways to win without it directly being up against Arishem, but it's a little tougher at that point. So if you're playing versus a deck that is not Arishem, do not play Crystal. Okay, do not, because you don't want them to get extra cards. Now, if you're playing Arishem, 100% play Crystal, because they draw 1 extra card. It doesn't really hurt you that much, especially because you have the Korg and Rock Slide line, so you can just add stuff right back into their deck. But you need to see Darkhawk if you're playing Arishem. Rock Slide, much like Korg, core game plan for Darkhawk. Now again, if you're playing versus Arishem, you don't necessarily even need to play Korg and Rock Slide in those games. Can you for an extra value? Of course you can, but you don't often have to win those games. Now, if you're playing against, you know, decks that are not Arishem, Korg and Rock Slide are absolutely necessary to your Darkhawk game plan. Shang-Chi just remains to be an excellent counter and excellent tech against all the big things. And when they're playing Arishem, I promise you they want to do big things. They're playing a lot of blob. That's one of the primary, you know, cards in the Arishem builds, and Shang-Chi cleans that up real nice. And if you get extra sneaky about it, he can work well with the last card in the deck here, which is Arnim Zola. Supergiant, core plan A, you know, game plan of how you win with this deck. I've said it before: Supergiant on 4, Mystique or Taskmaster on 3, Darkhawk on 6, and if you're playing Arishem, GG's. Taskmaster, just excellent, right? Excellent at what he does. You play him on turn 5 versus, you know, again, versus mainly against Arishem decks, right? But you play him on turn 5 after you've played the Supergiant, and then, or again, if you've had to play Darkhawk on turn 5 underneath a Cosmo, then you could just copy it with Taskmaster on turn 6, plus even, you know, Korg if you still got it. Darkhawk, the main and primary win condition versus Arishem. I've been talking about it for a couple of months now. I feel like I was one of the first people that told you, hey, Cosmo, Armor, Darkhawk, etc., is going to be busted versus Arishem. To be fair, I'm sure everybody knew that, but I was one of the first people definitely hyping it up for sure. Arnim Zola is basically plan C in this deck. If all else fails, now granted, there's a good chance you might not be winning those games, but if all else fails and your opponent does not have the counter, let's say you weren't able to play Darkhawk under a Cosmo, and you just have Darkhawk sitting out in open space. Okay, well, if your opponent doesn't have the counter and you Arnim Zola, and again, mainly versus Arishem, you're just going to win that game because you're getting the same 2-card value, you know, multiple Darkhawk effects in, you know, more than one lane. Again, I mentioned this before. You can play a Shang-Chi on turn 4 to counter a big card, especially versus Arishem, because they probably can play something big on turn 4 or turn 5, right? They can play a 6-drop on turn 5. Then you hit the Zola and you Shang-Chi the rest of whatever the big stuff they have going on, multiple blobs, whatever the hell they're doing right now. You're probably going to win that game. So GG's on that also. Definitely something unexpected, but very much plan C. Let's get into some games. All right, there is Zach. Let's get this cracking. So we have Mystique, we have Darkhawk, we have Cosmo, right? In case we need to play that route. Now they are playing an Arishem deck. I can see that already. They've got 20 cards. They've got 20 cards in deck. So yes, this is an Arishem game. This is almost a snap right here. I'm gonna be honest with you. If you see you have the line, so if you have Supergiant in hand and Darkhawk and Mystique, just go ahead and snap. Because you're gonna win about 90% of those games. And I don't know what our opponent is doing. It's roping out. Okay. Quinjet, naturally, right? Oscorp Tower. There's a Shadow King. Now, frequently I will just play Shadow King early if I have no reason there otherwise beforehand, because this is why Shadow King really much here could just be something better like White Widow, or even an early tempo play like you know, Medusa. Shadow King could be a lot of other things here, trust me. We haven't hit the Supergiant yet. So I'm gonna go Cosmo, because I'm not. If we get the Supergiant right now off the top, great. If not, we got this Cosmo line set up here as defense. Okay, we've got Korg. I want to snap, but you know, let's just Korg Rock Slide. This is the dead giveaway. This is where you want to snap. Because they can't beat this usually, but let's see how this goes. A lot of Arishem decks have been retreating as soon as they see the Darkhawk stuff. because it's near impossible for them to beat.
Man, I'm cook.
There's the Supergiant. She came a turn late, so we can't really do much about that. I'm almost willing to play Darkhawk mid to take the risk it for the biscuit, right? But let's not do that. There's no reason for it. So let's just play Darkhawk here. We copy it with Mystique and kind of just easy win there. And they have priority. So on top of all of that, we just get to, you know, do this stuff. So let's play the Mystique. Let's play Shadow King mid for no reason whatsoever. No, let's play it in the left lane. They're upset about the Cosmo. Let's play it mid. They're probably gonna retreat because they can't. Oh, okay. Iron Man's good. Iron Man's good. Wow, Iron Man's real good. Why didn't I play the Mystique middle? Yikes. It's okay. We're not gonna win now. Oh wait, hold on. Oh, M'Baku saved them. Wow. We actually would have won, but M'Baku, because that's craziness. I should have just played it middle. I know. Don't mind me. Don't do the things that I do. But this was an easy win, right? I fumbled it, but this is an easy win where you just play Mystique in the middle. But this is what I'm talking about. This is just an auto win. Like, there's no reason why I should or would have lost this game just by playing Mystique in the middle lane. Easy stuff. Let's get to the next one. And there'd be no reason for me to take that out, right? We're lost. What am I taking out? That's a prime example of having the bag and fumbling it. And here we go. We have the line. This is another Arishem deck that we're playing against. We have Supergiant, Darkhawk, Taskmaster. So just kind of auto win. It really is. And you know, you might think that in jest. Now usually I don't snap in these videos, and they retreated because they know. Victory. You know, it's come on. Come on, man. Alright, I'll stop snapping. I'm sorry. Alright, game 3, another Arishem deck. So we don't have the line yet. We have Crystal, which can help us get there. Crystal can help us to get to Mystique, to Supergiant, whatever. We have Darkhawk already. You know, we have the Supergiant. We've all but locked this game up. This is crazy because once you have the line, you know the game's pretty much over. Now, Jean Grey, I will say, messes that up. That is the honest truth. So we have to get tricky here. We have to really try to fill that location, because we're gonna need to do all of our things, and if we can't fill this location, we're not gonna be able to do it. I think we'll be fine ultimately. It's just a matter of, like I said, we gotta fill it. So let's go Korg and Cosmo? Question mark? It's either Korg and Cosmo or Korg and Crystal to try to get to Taskmaster or Mystique. Well, that's brave. All right, let's Korg and Cosmo. Let's Korg and Cosmo, because then we just drop Darkhawk there with no repercussion. There's the She-Hulk.
Hey, I found a rock.
Hey, I found a rock. God, you gotta love the Korg voice line. So now we just Darkhawk in this lane, and we let them try to figure out what lane we're gonna play. Well, we don't have, to be fair, we don't have Mystique or we don't have the second part of our win condition yet.
Such is my judgment.
I don't think that's gonna be enough power across the board. Now remember, they snapped, okay? I didn't snap, and we don't even have our finishing, like, line that definitively wins us the game, which is bad. They don't know that, though. They have to assume that I have it, which is crazy, because if I were them, I would just retreat, because I would assume I had it. Let's see what happens. They didn't retreat. There's the blob. So this is why you play Shang-Chi, because we just erase that and the game's over. No problems. Now we did have to guess the lane. Oh wait, no, wait, they win because the 10 across the board, right? But again, all we needed here was, and I forget how many points per lane it was before the Darkhawk, before the blob blew up. I forgot about Tribunal when I was doing my math. I hate Tribunal. We just needed Mystique or Taskmaster or whatever, and it's just like easy, no problems. Like legitimately. Again, just it's an easy win against these decks as long as you have all the pieces. Probably should have played Crystal, right? It's all good. Let's get to the next one. You know, if I weren't making videos for content purposes, that's a game where once I didn't hit the line that I needed, which is the last piece, I would have just retreated. Because I wouldn't have taken the chance on, oh, Shang's gonna bail us out, right? We have Supergiant. We have Mystique. All we need is Darkhawk. And again, this is another Arishem deck. And Limbo, which is now you have to. Now this is a deck that you gotta put some back. Now they've went the high Evo route, which means Shadow King might have a little bit more of an effect if they draw those cards. This takes practice. Supergiant is not a common play line that a lot of people played a lot of or had access to. So you just want to make sure you're not messing up the order. Now, I want to at least get this to work in one of these games so you can all the way see it. Wow, they are really like, come on. Oh, there you go. Wolverine. Okay, great. Now we can Shadow King that. Supergiant, Mystique. Come on, we just need Darkhawk. All right. Yeah, we can just Shadow King that now. No reason to just let it linger. Makari, okay. There's the Darkhawk. There we go. Now we could snap. Okay. Now if you were doing this on your own, just go ahead and snap here because you win. I know I say that very straight away, but again, just make sure you're handling your lanes properly. But you have the line to win. So, and this is it: Darkhawk, Supergiant, Mystique, or Taskmaster. Warpath, huh? Supergiant, bam. Now we just play the Mystique, and yeah, we could just do all the rest of the nutty stuff that we want. Let's put Mystique over here. Do we put Korg down now? Sure, why not? And not only this, not only can we do all the stuff that we want to do, right? But now we have protection against Darkhawk, or for Darkhawk, I should say, excuse me, with Cosmo. So now we can do Rock Slide, we can do Cosmo, then we put slap the Darkhawk underneath the Cosmo, and you know, you just kind of auto win. Now, of course, if they change Limbo, be careful of that, right? So if your opponent decides to snap change Limbo like they did right there, you find yourself in a very bad spot. And I didn't even think about that to the last possible second, right? I wasn't thinking about that. So shame on me for not factoring that in. But again, pay attention and factor that stuff in, okay? So had I thought about it, I would have just said, okay, well, maybe pick a different line, play Darkhawk, whatever the case may be. So it is what it is. Good on them for using the Nico at the right time. But again, this is a circumstance. The percentage of this is absurd. Okay, this is the lowest possible percent. The RNG behind them having the Nico, this ability on turn 6 to be able to play it, don't anticipate that. This game was only lost by way of sheer lowest possible RNG you could possibly have. So it happens, okay? It happens. But just to show you that it can happen, there you go. All right. You are going to lose games to low percentage RNG. It is going to happen. It's a part of the game. Now, don't let that discourage you and think, well, oh, I always lose to that. No, you do not, okay? Sometimes you lose to high percentage RNG, right? Which I would define that as like, you know, when an opponent is playing discard and, you know, they're Corvus Glaive and not Hela, not that garbage, and they're playing like Corvus Glaive and you're like, oh, I hope this doesn't hit Dracula, and it's like a, you know, they've got like a 75% chance where it won't hit Dracula and it doesn't. Like, you're going to lose more times than not to that type of RNG. And that is what it is. It's fine. But like that last game, you're not going to lose a lot of games to that type of low percentage RNG. It's just not going to happen. Just period. Okay, so don't expect to. Don't think it happens a lot, because it doesn't. And they've ruined that game. So now let's get into another game. Jesus. It's very much a shame. I hate when that happens, because, you know, we had Darkhawk in hand. When you have your primary win condition in hand, it sucks when it gets ripped away from you. This is why I always snap at the end of, like, when a turn 1 is going down to the end and like they don't do anything, I always snap like right before the end of that. We could Invisible Woman on Castle Zemo, but we're not gonna do that. I'm gonna put Invisible Woman in the right lane, because I'm gonna put Crystal. This is another Grandmaster deck. I mean, Grandmaster. It's another Arishem deck. Sokovia, don't. Damn it. I was gonna say, take the Zola. Take the Zola. Okay, we need cards. We got nothing we need to win this game. No Supergiant, no Darkhawk, no Mystique, nothing. So let's get, there we go. Morph.
Hey, I found a rock.
Of course it would be. Of course it would be Korg. Now we just Supergiant and hope for the best. We're Supergiant over here, because then we can get that space back. Double Crystal and we still didn't hit Darkhawk. Come on, man. We just need it before the end of this, because we can play Taskmaster right here. Oh, damn rock, son of a bee. Okay. Now we Taskmaster and hope for Darkhawk. Now, unfortunately, the double Korg, the 2 rocks, that's not good. Ah, shoot. All right, well, we just lose. We just lose. The best case is they play something big and we can shang it, right? That's really the best. If you wanted to play this out, you would do that. But probably don't play this out. Don't be like me. Yeah, let's just play this out for the sheer sake of content. They played the straight up 7 power Arishem.
Hey man, I'm Cook. I found a rock.
I found a rock. Iron Man? Yeah.
I am Iron Man.
Again, you just need your main win condition, which in this case was Darkhawk. Darkhawk makes this a very easy win, but que sera, it is what it is. Okay, so what I failed to mention, now this is not a Arishem deck that we are facing. Not an Arishem deck. Anyway, you are going to need to retreat out of a lot of games. If you don't have your line, if you don't hit your Darkhawk, etc., you are when you need to, you're going to have to retreat. Keep that in mind. Now, the fact that this even had a high variance percentage win rate, when I made the video, is because we were seeing so much Arishem, and then the odds were we were pulling Darkhawk is just ripping off stuff, right? Expect your cube rate to be high, but again, let's not play anything, because I would rather Invisible Woman get pulled in by Sakaar than us play it. That's fine. You're gonna need to retreat in a lot of games, okay? Because you have a primary win condition that if it gets disrupted, like if your plan A or plan B is not there, you got to get out of there. So we're gonna play Crystal now because something's got to hit. We don't have Supergiant or Darkhawk, and we need one of those two. Now, granted, we could go Cosmo. I probably should have played Crystal in the left lane to avoid this Titania stuff. So there's Shadow King, which is going to be great underneath Invisible Woman, actually. So here's, they've put this stuff directly in the line of fire. Now, keep in mind, we can do the Mystique line here, where you put Mystique under Invisible Woman, right? And let her copy the Darkhawk. Make sure Darkhawk is the last thing you play. Sure, let's do that. We play Shadow King underneath here because again, we have Mystique at the forefront. She will reveal first. That's good. Take the Titania back. What else are we gonna do? Oh, we want a Shadow King, but I also want a Darkhawk, but Darkhawk's gonna be on turn 6. So we're gonna put Cosmo. Oh boy, not there. Let's put Cosmo in the left lane. Let's put Shadow King mid. And we put Darkhawk in the left lane. It's unfortunate because we didn't hit any of the yeah, I knew they might do something like that. I was kind of banking on that. We didn't put any. We don't have Korg or Rock Slide happen. Maybe one Rock's Korg, perfect. I was gonna say Korg here would be the best case scenario. Where I'm gonna put Korg here and I'm gonna put Darkhawk over here. Darkhawk's not gonna be huge, okay? But they're banking on this lane being busted, which it kind of is right now. But we get to shut all that down with Shadow King. Yeah, this is the line. Korg goes now into here. Darkhawk reveals first. Mystique copies him. All good. Let's see what happens. We would have liked to play like Rock Slide earlier, maybe. Cannonball. That's fine, because Mystique should copy Darkhawk here still. Okay, good. I say good, but really it's not great.
Hey man, I'm cool.
Like this would, like, pretend this is an Arishem game, okay? Hypothetically speaking. This is the easy win, right? Because think about how big the Darkhawk and Mystique would be, right? That's how, now again, granted, this is a loss against this deck specifically, but let's say you're playing against Arishem. That's the kind of line, play line wise, that you're going for. Exactly what I just did there. Because again, pretend it's you're playing Arishem, that's absurd levels of power that's protected, okay? So play these things out like this. This is how you want to do it. I don't want to like sit here and play all day and it's just like, oh, well, these are the lines and maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. I'm telling you, against Arishem, this is absolutely correct. So, all right, everybody. So as you see there, how amazing this deck can be versus Arishem. Very specifically, you hit your lines. If you have the lines, you just win. Okay, make sure you're making the proper, playing your things in the proper lanes, right? But like I said, it's very good. It's very strong against Arishem. Probably one of the best things you can be doing. A lot of people are using different builds. This is a strong one, but the main core is Supergiant, Darkhawk, Mystique, Taskmaster. That line plus whatever else you really want, you could build a deck around that 4-card package, and you're gonna win a lot of your games versus Arishem. If you don't have the line, make sure you retreat. If you have the line, instant snap. Instant snap, okay? Because they know, you know what you have and they don't. Okay, so keep that in mind. This is a fun one. Shout out to the homie Thursday. Like I said, put this specific build of cards together, and very good stuff. I am Flash. Thank you guys again for joining me, checking out another video. And the next one should be tomorrow, right? When we talk about some more decks from the stream team with the homie Glazer. And like I said, I love you guys. Catch you guys on the next video. Peace.